Chapter 7. Testing. Testing is an important part of the engineering process. As step 4 in the engineering design process, this test takes up the most time. Many things can go wrong with programs. These are ways programmers try to limit the number of problems in their programs so that they run smoothly. Defensive programming. Defensive programming is designing your program so that it keeps working even when things don't go as expected. One way to do this is intentionally get your program to produce errors to see how you should solve them. For example, if you write a program where the user should input their email address, you could try to produce an error by entering text that is not an email address. Then ask, does the program still run correctly if a user inputs their phone number or name in the email address field? What can you do to prevent the user from inputting the wrong information? Use cases, which are lists of actions users can take. It describes how users will use your program, and test cases are used in defensive programming to help you see where adjustments may be needed in a program. The list could be a very detailed flowchart, or it could be a few ideas you come up with. It's important that the user is able to run a program without errors. For example, after you complete the programming of a game, you should play the game from beginning to end to make sure it runs the way you want it to. Test cases. Use case test check to see if the user can complete a goal in the program. For every use case, there will be many more test cases. Test cases are specific, more detailed tests. They use conditions that your program may run under. The use case is used to define the functionality required. Use case testing is then testing for that functionality. Test cases focus on one condition or variable at a time to make sure the program works in all situations. For example, if you were creating a video game, you could create a test case that makes sure your character jumps when you press the spacebar. If this test passes, you should also test to see what happens if you hold down the spacebar instead of pressing it just once. Programming defensively would mean making sure that no matter how long the user held down the spacebar, the character would jump just once. If you defensively program your game, then the character will just jump once. If you didn't defensively program or forgot to text what happens when the user holds down the spacebar, the character might do something you don't want them to do. Another example, if you program a calculator app that divides your number by 10, test cases make sure your program works with different types of numbers. Would the program crash if the user tries to enter 1 or 0? It is important to pick that test cases that use many types of input. For example, for a calculator app, instead of testing only with digits 0 to 9, choose positive and negative integers, rational numbers, and 0. Remember from math class, positive integer, a whole number greater than 0, not a fraction or decimal. For example, 2, 5, 9, 50. Negative integer, a whole number less than 0, not a fraction or a decimal. For example, -1, -5, -150. Rational number, any number that can be written as a fraction or ratio. For example, -5 can be written as -5 by 1, and 2.15 can be written as 215 by 100.